Excited to have Alex Vitale with us. Couldn't be more apropos on a day where the Democrats in the House unveil their police reform bill, when over the weekend, Minneapolis City Council members announced that they intend to get rid of the MPD. De Blasio announces $1 billion worth of cuts over, I think, over the course of 4 years. It's a start, and people are still out there. So very exciting in that regard. New York City has gone into phase one. Very important milestone, I think, in many respects, because, of course, New York City was the epicenter, at least in wave one. We will see if there is and when there will be a wave two. A couple of corrections I want to make before we continue on. One is we played a video, I guess this was on Thursday or Friday, of a man that we said was an FBI agent getting arrested by cops. And when they checked his ID, they had to realize that he was not the person they were looking for. That was actually a video from 2019. I believe it was in Minneapolis. And that man was not an FBI agent. I don't know any more details beyond that, but I just wanted to make that clear. And we did not clip that video because of that. And the other thing I want to clear up, at the very least, I want to add, I don't know if this resolves it, but this is an explanation. We saw a video, and I don't know when this was. It was a couple of days ago as well, of two what appeared to be law enforcement officers unloading bricks from the back of their vehicle. And the people who were videotaping it thought, like, what the heck is going on? According to series of tweets issued by the Northeastern University Police Department in Boston, which patrols the campus, they said that the officers had collected the bricks from a damaged sidewalk nearby and brought them to headquarters. They were in the process of unloading the bricks when the video was filmed. This is according to the NUPD. The user who made the video deleted it, saying she was not interested in spreading misinformation. The only thing I can tell you about that is I am familiar with that part of Boston. There are sidewalks that still have brick in some of those areas. So it's conceivable. So just wanted to let you know that. Now, that is, it's up to you whether you take the word of the Northeastern NUPD, but it sounds reasonable to me. That doesn't mean that in all the other instances, there aren't instances where bricks were in places where it's unclear why they would be there. But I just wanted to correct the record in that regard. Let's get to this. Apropos, the right is freaking out, and maybe, I guess, they're hoping that this can end up being some type of, and I suspect we're going to see this pivot, but we have talked about why there has not, the right has not been successful in exploiting these series of protests and everything that's going on as a law and order issue. And in fact, the Democrats have come out with, like I said, and we'll go through this maybe with Vitale, a proposal to reform police departments in some manner. But it's quite possible they think this is the best way to run this election, because Donald Trump is in sort of desperate measures right now. And who knows? But usually it's Fox and Friends that gives you a little preview of what the talking points are going to be this week. And here is Brian Kilmeade. He can't even believe that we're talking about defunding the cops.
This is the craziest conversation and debate we've had in decades. defund the police, eliminate police force, come in with a peace force, come in with counselors, call 311, not 911. If you want to reform, you want to talk about it, you put law enforcement at the table, and we talk. Nobody's happy about what happened. 8 out of 10 Americans are more concerned about police conduct than they are about the riots. I get it. I saw the Wall Street Journal poll as well. But this is insane to take 700 to 800,000 people and tell them, go do something else, hand in your uniforms, we got this. Senator Tim Scott weighed in.
Well, I'd say on the defund police, what a ridiculous idea. It is not an idea whose time has come. It should never come. The absolute nation requires law and order. We need order in our streets, and the easiest way to have that is to have a strong presence of character-driven law enforcement officers.
What the heck is character-driven?
So was Senator Tim Scott saying Trey Gowdy came back?
Pause it. Like, first off, there's two things I want to just mention. He also, Kilmeade, lived through the debate as to whether Barack Obama was a U.S. citizen, just to put it in context. But the idea of like character base, I don't even know, Aaron, like we gotta make for better character. We gotta better cops with better characters.
It's cops that read Dickens.
That's a new one. We just need character-based cops. Maybe it's like a cosplay thing. Anyways, continue.
With and said, you know, you have sexual abuse, you have child abuse going on, domestic abuse, you're going to send in a social worker. Good luck with that. By the way, social workers don't get paid enough. Now we're going to ask them to do this. That'll be fantastic. Number three is the people who are in the NYPD, about 38,000, they're not living in the lap of luxury. They're making about 41,000 to start going through the academy. With our tax system, we all live it. A third of that goes right out the window to various taxes. So they're barely making ends meet. And now they got to get a second job. Now you're going to take less stuff away. They had 13 cop cars destroyed, 60 damaged, over 300 hurt. And your answer to that is let's take more stuff away, make them reuse their uniforms, different shoes, take away their handcuffs. This is just insane. I cannot believe we're having this conversation, Steve.
Well, I can't believe that we're having this conversation either, partly because we're not. And I think we'll get more details when we talk to Alex Vitale in a minute. But the idea of like they can't have shoes. I think the whole point is that yes, there aren't enough social workers, and so what we'll do is give a lot of those cops an opportunity to become social workers, and at the same pay. I think social workers would be very happy to have cop pay, frankly. And to have those pension and benefits. I think that's... Go ahead.
Here's what character-based policing might look like, I think.
That's... well, I mean, how could you not, first of all, listen to the crime dog in that situation? And also, the crime dog comes up to your car, it's going to be a lot less tense of the situation if they pulled you over for a ticket or they come in and they say, please, everybody calm down. It's man's best friend. So I think that actually there may be something to that. Now, of course, here is Ainsley Earhart. I mean, this is why I'm like thinking this is what they're going to roll out this week, because when the two of them sort of chime in and they have their own sort of like special talking points, you really get the sense that maybe Ainsley was really thinking about this over the weekend. Or maybe they just got a memo when they came in the morning. Here's Ainsley Earhart talking about how dangerous it's going to be if people can't call 911.
You know, when you look at what the mayor's doing in Minneapolis, he's going against what the majority of the city council wants to do. And he was on that stage and he got booed on the stage, but it took a lot of guts for him to do that because many people in his community are worried. What's going to happen? Who do we call if there's an emergency situation? What about domestic violence? What about child abuse? What about murder and rape and looting? Who do you call? You call 311 instead of 911. You know, if you call 311 in the city, oftentimes those are questions about Central Park or or park in the city or garages or paying for parking. It's not necessarily, if I have an emergency, can you come and help me? So there are a lot of questions here. Makes a lot of people nervous. Yes, there needs to be reform and there needs to be change, and those conversations need to be had. The president's doing that with leaders today. It's not going to be open to cameras and the press. So we'll have to rely on reports when talking to those people who were in the room with him.
What's really fascinating about this is that they keep listing over and over again, like, 3 or 4 situations. How do you stop someone from murdering somebody, or domestic abuse or child abuse? Though child abuse is very often handled by social workers because it happens, after the fact. And it's quite possible that we could have police for this, but that's not all that they're doing. There's a tremendous amount of other things that they're doing that Ainsley Earhardt doesn't mention, nor does Brian Kilmeade, because the rationale for the police doing that is a lot shakier. And in a moment, we're going to hear more about that. In the meantime,